Bum, 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 bum. What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from the Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic live stream on May 23rd, the year of 2021. And we are going to be having a palooza of a week on seeing what's going to happen. Kind of do like a retroactive, like what happened past week, what potentially could be looking for, some potential setups, some stocks that I'm looking at, and so forth. And we'll just have a lot of fun regarding around that. A couple other small things on the side note. I will be meeting up with Mr. Bear potentially tomorrow evening for a nice dinner in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. If you don't know it, he's a long-time wonderful member within the Discord community and member for the club, and also just a stand-up guy. And yeah, looking forward to that, and we'll have a lot of fun going forth. Looking at some chart setups, looking at the NASDAQ, looking at some of the indexes. As of right now in the futures market, again, anything can change. It's Sunday night, so around 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, we have the NASDAQ up just a hair, about 20 points, around 0.17%. Same with the RUT, just very, very slightly up. The gold is up nearly 0.5%, which again is hit and miss on that one. And of course, Bitcoin is still trading fairly well below here around the $34,000 to $35,000 range. For Bitcoin, more importantly, this has had a large downtick and really much of a strong correction from the tippy top high around that 65K to where we're currently looking, okay, it's around a 46% decline already. It's going to be pretty astounding to see that. If that does recover here, we do have some initial resistance or some stuff we need to kind of be trading around that 34,700 to around that 36.5 range there. But yeah, that's going to be definitely one to watch. Again, that was due to most likely people just feeling the pressure and the pinch between initially the first, like the Chinese news of how they're breaking down for institutional stuff, and then some of the stuff from the U.S. government talking about taxation and how that's going to end up with that. I'm Seb King. What's up? Crypto Money Maker. What's up, my friend? DMC 8282. What's up, my brother? AMC. Is AMC in a short squeeze? Yeah. Again, if you're not familiar with AMC, this is a movie theater that was a lot of people were going to be down and out, very beaten up. They were in talks with bankruptcy again. Like it was not like this is just like something just happened. Like they were on the brink of bankruptcy. Thanks to, I wanted to thank the Wall Street Bet folks for really kind of giving this this company a second life, because again, if we look at this here, even before the pandemic and everything, and the beginning of 2020, this stock was trading around $7, and it was this. You can see this on the weekly chart. It was always already declining. The stock hasn't been hasn't done very well. It hasn't been recovering in any sense. It's very much just being down here. With AMC, yeah, we had that short squeeze, shot up all the way a hair over $20, but didn't close above it here. We're having multiple issues actually trying to stay above $13.30. That would be the significant move that we could be looking for if you want to see AMC really get that push higher. Again, it's very kind of a hard, difficult pattern. I think, what is the current short interest on AMC? It's going to be sometimes hard to kind of find that here. We're looking at short volume ratio, short interest, short squeeze interaction. Short shares shorted for the May 21 was around 3,000,002. Short float, see 365. So around 30. So looks like it's one site is saying 23, one saying 30, one is saying 31. Again, that data, as we know, is very interesting one to look at. But if that shortfall is still above 30, even 25, is a potential, could be a short squeeze, right? If we do have, again, it did have earnings a couple of days ago, a week and a half ago, and it didn't come crashing down. Actually made a nice little boost higher here. But again, looking here at the Fibonacci tree here, 1330 is going to be that really tough line in the sand. If we can kind of get above that and close it, if we do get above that, we could be tipping, tatting around that $16.40. But again, very risky, very, very, very risky, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be playing this is going to be something that could easily come down substantially and shake out some weak hands. DMC's attitude is, can I had 5 green days this week? Nice. That's fantastic, dude. Ken, are you buying AMC for the short squeeze? I am not. Irish. I'm not. I maybe will sell some premium on it because the premium is not too crazy. Let me look at the charts here. Yeah, the premium is pretty good. Like this could be potentially selling some nice, like, I don't know, like $10 puts or here or something like that. We'll see. I normally don't play those kind of squeezes like that. Not my style, says Tattooed Chef, TTCF. Starting to break out. Yeah. Tattoo Chef, I don't know if you were on the live stream a week ago. We talked about this one definitely showing some support around that $17 or $16.97 to be some initial support here. We did say and hinted at the purple parabolic SAR dots. If that could hold those levels here, if we could see a nice little rebound higher here and really see it potentially get some of that momentum after its earnings to kind of see some positivity full through. Again, still a little bit of a choppy chart here, but it is kind of breaking out just slightly. If we glance over to the weekly chart, pretty substantially here again, this thing has seen a lot of momentum, a lot of swings up and down very aggressively because it fell in that SPAC kind of train situation. Wasn't as what's the word, highly levered like some of the other SPACs and like hopes and dreams that they had. But this is definitely one that we could see. So the first level is to continue to climb here would be around that $21.43 to potentially hit that level. And maybe if we get that momentum to break through that, that would be a key level. But the first level to kind of see on the way up here is about $1 higher where we're currently sitting here. Some downward support is going to be coming around $19.20 there, my friend. RH, my dude, CLOV, Clover, yeah. This one is interesting one as well. Again, going to the SPAC realm, this was like one of the Chamath Papatil's IPO D. I forget which one IPO this was. Very beat down. Had a pretty tremendous negative short report, I believe, from Hindenburg. Short report really crushed it down. Kind of been stagnant down here around that 750ish range. Broke through that and now below $7. Very much beat down. For me, this would be a little bit early to kind of get into here. I would like to see it potentially make its way up past 9 to even that 1050 if we can get that momentum going to that level again. That might take a little bit of patience if you want to be an early bird and potentially just keep a very tight stop on it. Because if this kind of just makes a fake flush up to around that $8 range and then just comes right back down past its previous low below 650, I think that could really kind of construe and get some people off balance there. But yeah, we have some initial short-term support around that $7 range. Would like to see that kind of turn around because again, this company is trying to do good things, but that short report kind of pointed out some things and the company really wasn't able to justify some things there. And it's kind of getting caught in that whole SPAC attack. Duck is saying AMC is becoming a leading search on every platform. It is. That's good to know. AMC is getting lots of love. Is it on like Wall Street Bets? Let's see. I'll show you what I kind of use for swag. It's Wall Street Bets. We're gonna do relative. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna do ticker sentiment. So this is the site here. We have Coinspace, Tesla, GME, and then AMC on what they talk about here. Let's look at AMC. Looks like it's kind of been declining here. This is the number amount of posts, right? Oh, this is the price here. What is the comment volume? Okay, comments are kind of down. Positive sentiment. Yeah, on that, I'm not going to be relying completely on this. Is like this could be like an easy like a Google trend, not trend, trends. That's what it is. So we go to Google Trends, and then we'll type in like AMC is stock, and then we can kind of see. Let's just do the past like 30 days. It's kind of been a little choppy here. So if we kind of zoom out to like past 90 days, a little choppy. It's coming up here more than it has been the past 2 or 3 months here. But this is definitely one to be. We'll see what happens. Again, like I said, this is not going to be something that I'm going to be diving in full bore there. Makeshift saying check out GME is going to 370. Wow. If it's going to 370 here, holy moly guacamole. Is that what Deep F and Value is saying? He's going to know more about the short stuff again. Trying to find out on what exactly the percentage is on who is short the stock is still a mind-boggling thing. Again, it's super difficult to get that accurate number because you have to pay like S3. I think it's like a couple $1,000s in fees to get that very accurate number on who's actually short. And mostly if it's larger institutional funds, they can kind of funnel things around, so it's really hard and difficult to kind of look at that. I'm gonna say it pretty publicly. I'm still surprised that this stock is at this list at this pretty high significant level. Honestly, Makeshift. If I was thinking this was an ordinary short squeeze, this would have came down like we saw with most of them and came back down to at least below 100 at least, around $90. I was projecting at, but again, this is in a whole different world, completely in a different planet. Gravity up down is not make any sense here, so I can't add too much commentary on it, but we do have some pretty significant support around 145 here. You can see multiple bounces, kind of holding this Fibonacci level here at the 23.6 percentile move from the previous swing high to low. We'll see what happens again. I think they have plenty of opportunity to take a lot of cash and really do anything they really want to do with it, because what I understand is that they were able to sell some stock, right? If I stand corrected, and they're able to get some of that cash, pay off debt, and be able to basically go into whatever market they want to. DMC says, I'm looking at something covered calls. It's a 5-year hold. I am looking for a pop to buy the 1250 calls. Would it be to buy them monthly or just buy December? DMC 82. So basically, if you're looking at NNDM, again, yeah, that's the stock that's been beat down quite a bit here. Again, from that nearly double top here around $18 is seen a pretty strong aggressive move down, now trading around $6. We'll see on how this one works out. Covered calls. So normally it doesn't have, if you're doing covered calls, so if you had 100 stock, probably have more than that, maybe 1,000 shares, you can buy like 10 calls or sell 10 calls. And there's not too much of an, wow, there's not many here actually. They cut a lot of them down. The December ones, the theta is just not going to be there. Like, and you're just kind of like hoping and praying, because the thing is, DMC 82 is basically if you sell like the 1250s, it's not that they're not really selling for much, to be quite honest. There's not much open interest on them as well, especially the ones in June and July. The August ones will be the only ones I would be starting to look at. Maybe like 15s or the 1250s you're looking at, because they're only expected to move about $3 in August. Again, very volatile stock, so anything can happen. And the worst case scenario is you make the difference between the calls and what stock you had or what price. again, I don't know what your thing, but the thing is as well, you can always continuously move that short out if you want. You just need to have capital in the bank to be able to do that. My suggestion, if I would do it, I would be potentially selling them in August. And yeah, I would wait for kind of a tick up and to kind of be playing just slightly out of the one deviation move there. Ryan, what's up, my brother? Yeah, FCX. Yeah, this one kind of beat down because of the, what's the word on the street of this inflation playing being over, infrastructure kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. Things are getting too hot. Things are going to be coming down, blah, blah, blah. This came right into support here on the 21 EMA. If we start seeing it break below like $40 and even making it break below 37, that would be a little bit more of a choppy trend break, to be quite honest with you. But again, let's look at this here on the daily chart, just continuously running up. We've seen some level of support here coming to the 50 SMA, but again, that was during very volatile times. And again, it was fairly volatile for the NASDAQ this week or so, because again, I believe it was just due to just getting out of some weak hands, some of the market pressures of reflation and other stuff kind of creeping in, and people kind of learning from what they thought worked in 2020 is not working in 2021, because stocks just don't always go up. You know what I'm saying? Alpaca says CWC. Yeah. Is that the water company? Yeah. You called this one out. Like, when did you call this one out? Alpaca, you think you called it out like midweek, and I think I told you I really liked it, right? And I said I like the setup. I like how it was kind of curling, and then bada bing, bada bang, Alpaca came in and just made it jump 5% on Friday here. Kind of hitting a level here, nothing too substantial here. It's kind of hard for me to buy it at this level. I would like to really buy it, maybe add to it around, or start the position around 12 to maybe even slightly below that. But yeah, that is a pretty substantially move higher here. If this can continue, we're going to be looking for 13 plus, where we've seen some potential level of resistance prior. Fish, what's up, my friend? ESK. It's not loading for me, Fish. Ryan say GME to 420. Who knows at this point, right? VK is asking for Apple and SOS. Two completely different things. Apple, very much of a blue chip kind of company, been around, it has a product, it does well. A little bit of beaten up here a little bit. Again, like the NASDAQ we saw this week, has been kind of slightly below the 21 EMA here. We want to see that significant support continue to hold around 124, which kind of falls into that 144 EMA here. On the longer viewpoint, what I'm looking at here, it's just kind of holding between that 21 and 34. If we start seeing this break below that 119, 117 and start closing below that, that would be pretty substantially pullbacks. That would be something that would be concerning. As of right now, we're just kind of in the chop mode, and there hasn't been a completely red flag yet. So initially speaking here, it's still kind of holding somewhat of a trend here, but again, this has had such a substantial move the last year or so, hitting in between that 21 to 34 again on the weekly chart. So this is a weekly chart. This is a chart that goes back a total of 3 years, okay? And we're looking at the Apple here. You asked about SOS. Yeah, so completely different like parameters here. Very much beaten down here, has not got above that yellow line, which is the 21 EMA, which we kind of use like the reversion of the mean, kind of like a guiding, like a guiding trend support level if it's going up or down. Clearly it's pointing to the ground right now. The ticks are still breaking down. Can this have a completely breakout and then the stock just jumps like 15-20%? Yes, it can. Definitely 100%. Is it being down at this level? Yes. Can it continue going lower? Hell yes, it can. So this is something I don't like to be to stand in front of. It's just kind of like a mine cart full of TNT that's rolling your way and you're kind of trying to stop it. But what you really should do is just kind of wait, step aside, let it roll down the hill, which we don't know how long this hill is, blow up, and then you kind of come in and try to put the pieces together, or maybe even wait for other people to put the pieces together, and you just kind of come in the last 20, 30 feet, and you come in and help them push it. That was a kind of a long, vague analogy behind that, but that's the way I look at it. That's the way my brain works again. Oh, DMC, I have an average of 1060. Yeah, I think that, I forget what the 1250s or the 15s are going for. I'm not looking for, I'm not sure what you're looking for on just little returns, or just trying to protect a little bit to the downside. Oh, EXK. Okay, wow, very nice there. That's a nice looking chart there, Fish. Hitting a pretty key breakout level here. We can kind of hold this $7 plus. That looks like it could be a pretty substantial move here. Let me look here on the fibs there from the previous swing high to low. Again, I have no idea what this company does. Yeah, so we're looking for some potential resistance around 729. But if that does break and we see some continuous squeezes and momentum breaking through here, I think $9 is in the cards there, my friend. Kelly D, what's up, my friend? Oh, Cat. Sure, we look at Caterpillar. Kind of had a little bit of a pullback week, a little bit of chop again with a lot of these like infrastructure plays and kind of things kind of falling apart here a little bit. But the trend's still intact here. If it does come back, that 230 level, $230 is a pretty significant level of support here. So that's what we're really going to be looking at to kind of see if this holds. If that does not hold, we're going to be seeing Hello Kitty to around 223 to 225. But this trend looks like it's still somewhat intact. Let's see how it closes out this week. Free paper cuts, what's up, my friend? /ES. Yes, let's take a /ES. Yeah, so this is the S&P 500 futures. Again, we hit that little bit of a chop mode this week, last week, I mean. Let's see how the continuously movement happens into this week again. We are in a squeeze. Let's look at the weekly chart. We could be, this has been a hell of a run here, boys and girls. Could this kind of fall apart here? I don't know. If anyone tells you that the stocks are going to fall and come crashing down and with 100% certainty, I would love to meet that individual. Excuse me. If we do see a pullback here, I would see some support here around 4,055 to even that 4,000 level completely. So that would be my levels to really pull back into there. And that falls in basically to the low here that we saw just about a week and a half ago. And that falls into those parabolic SAR dots. To the upside, we would love to see this one break out here above that 4,200 level and see it really kind of push into this week. So we'll see. There's a couple things I have to look on the activity counter on what's reporting, what's coming out this week. But yeah, we'll see on how that one plays out. Hey, Ken, what do you think about the financial stocks like GS, Amex, and yeah? So I own XLF. So that's the way that I play the financial sector, because between Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, and all those other banks, those bastards, those scammers, those people who add things together and just kind of manipulate the monies and just turn in dust into gold and all these other kind of shenanigans they do over there. I would rather just own the cohort. So looking at the cohort, the trend looks still fairly strong here. We are still holding that 21 EMA here. Going to the weekly chart, this thing is just completely gangbusters here, holding that 5 and 8 moving average. It's just continue to climb here. In the short term, we have some support here around 36-ish range to the lower 36 to the mid 36s. To the upside here, we're looking for at least 40 plus in the next month or so. So I'm still pretty bullish and long the banks. But I would looking to, if we do break to that $40 range, so let's do example, let's looking at GS. GS has been trading a little bit better, but the chart looks somewhat like the same like we just looked at XLF. So that's what I'm kind of be looking at here. in that comparison. I don't want to be tied to one thing, because if one bank comes out and they're doing fraudulent stuff, or gets gets investigated by the Justice Department, whatever, like, it's just too much of a headache. I like to sleep at night, my friend. I'm nervous about the upcoming week, says Rolling One. Why are you nervous? Ken, be proud of me. A year ago, I didn't even know what the 200 EMA and the 20 EMA was. Now you know, my friend, right? Hey, what's up, Ken? What's up with crypto, coin, Doge, coin, Bitcoin? Yeah. Again, I don't think anyone knows the completely bottom line. It's just the it's a reaction, right? It's a reaction to folks talking about taxes. Taxes are never fun, right? Like paying mortgages, your mortgage. It's not paying the bills. It's like you feel like the government's taking money out of your hands. The whole point of what cryptos were supposed to be, where something completely separated from the US dollar or any kind of fiat currency. But now the government's just kind of looking at it like, you know what? It's kind of like a speculative, risky investment. We're just going to tax it like a stock would be, or something like that. It's going to be kind of falling into the same kind of crypto tax laws in that sense of people have to report things. And of course, it's just not going to be a lot of fun, because again, a lot of those could be shaking at some weak hands. It has seen a substantial pullbacks, especially we're looking at Coinbase here, had that huge IPO, really kind of came crashing down. Again, my philosophy on majority of the calls on newer stocks like this, and especially IPOs, you just have to wait at least, you have to have patience. Put your patient hat on, put a spell on yourself, and just maybe wait 2 or 3 quarters at least to kind of see where the cards fall. Especially after the second quarter, which is normally that that day range where the insider sellings can come through and there's lockout dates happening. Oh, it's a silver miner fish. Yeah, Ford had a nice little move again. They're advertising the Hello Kitty out of their new electric truck. Again, I kind of laugh at it. Like, I own Ford. I really do. It sounds silly, right? It's, yeah, make fun of me, whatever. I think Ford has a place in this world. Is it the best company in the world? No. Is it going to be like a Tesla? No. It still sells a lot of gasoline, ICE engines. They are trying to make it their best move with the Mustang SUV Mustang EV car. They're coming with the Lightning truck and so forth. I think they're making the right moves, right? GM's doing the same thing with Cadillac, their Hummer models and so forth. So I think they're kind of doing the right ways. This is a pretty substantial move here. Again, we saw a lot of volume coming here, nearly the same amount of volume that we saw on its previous earnings reaction. Again, we had significant support coming in around $11.43. Now we're seeing it kind of tip top out here around 13.48, which kind of was a key Fibonacci level before. So we go in here to the weekly side, that previous swing high to low here, we're seeing that 13.48 being hit once again. This is something that is pretty significant level of resistance, but if we do see a nice push through days, nice fall through day, and more volume come in and more great news, I think we can easily pop through that. And I have some targets around $15.50 to $16 for Ford. Brian says, hey Ken, Roblox is all at time high. ADL indicator shows strong volume accumulated last week. Was the indicator I used to catch a gapping up Friday. Hope his healthy condition was to see. Yeah, Roblox is this, again, it's very much in like, there's 2 different ways to look at it. You have to look at it through like a Wall Street analyst. Yeah, a Wall Street analyst, and then you have to also look through it as a person investing in it who loves Roblox. Like, most people who are into Roblox are very much like in tune with that ecosystem is going to be buying this stock here. Again, another newer IPO direct listing, I believe. Very much kind of choppy here. looking at a huge gap higher like you did see on Friday here, but it's coming in right to the previous high here. It did make an all-time high, and it did close just slightly above this previous high. Again, I don't follow the stock too well, and I don't understand it completely as well. I know it's a Cathie Wood stock, and she's been buying the Hello Kitty about it. But yeah, very nice move higher. There isn't too much data here that I can go off and kind of give you like a breakdown here, some kind of like a sequence. What we can do is from this previous swing high to low here, we can do some Fibonacci levels. So that 83.41 is going to be a very significant move to the upside. And if it does break and we see that momentum continue, $88.70 is there, my friend. Looking here at the volume, a lot of volume since its last first earnings announcement. We have the volume zone oscillator and RSI are both looking very positive. But with a very high volatile stock like this, anything can change. Yeah, Citigroup got hammered. Oh, Chris De La Rose. Hey, if LV is going up, yes, isn't LZVZ up? What? Thank you for the $2 there. LVR. If LVR, LVZ. What stock? LVR. It's not. Am I Z LVZ? You're looking for Christopher Del. Oh, you want EA? Okay, let's look at EA. Great. Yes, I love me some EA. Been waiting for the new Battlefield to come out. Let's go. EA, great. I like this stock. With the video game industry really kind of just going full gangbusters here, we are seeing some significant support coming in here around the 136. We did see that little bit of bounce coming into the end of the week. Again, we have some Overwatch did some stuff. Again, Overwatch is with an Activision Blizzard department, but with the understanding of EA. Again, they have some large sports franchises. They have a couple other games coming out here as well. We are going to be hopefully, again, huge Battlefield fan, so we'll see when this one comes out here. Significant support around 136 here. If we can kind of see that breakout here, we are seeing a significant overhead pressure just in the short term. So again, not the most significant level here, around 143. Some more significant level would be around 145 to be really kind of attuned to that here. To see on how this one can really break out here to those levels here, and looking for, again, that break to 150. But if that support does not hold around 136, we could easily see that break below 135 and even see some negative news. Because again, very volatile stock, so we'll kind of see on how that one breaks out. I am documenting all trades. I want to be an institutional day trader. Nice, go for it, my friend. Document is everything. You have to write a lot of things down. Fish is asking for MDT. Is that a bank? I think I traded this one before. Maybe not. Yeah, this is kind of a nice little pullback here. It's kind of didn't come crashing down, hit a little bit off the 50-day here. The only hesitant I have here, Fish, which I think you already know, is it has earnings coming out. I'm not too in tuned with that one, with earnings coming out. That can be very much of a coin flip there. No, excuse me. David Niles is looking for CP and G. Yeah, I don't know this one, David. What does this do? Coma is a Korean-based company, engaging in providing e-commerce services. Yeah, Two beaten down for me, my friend. Thank you, Fuzzy Dice. Bless me. CPNG very beaten down here. Had an earnings again. There's just so many of these e-commerce businesses. I just don't know how to decipher them. Looking here at the chart here, it is still beaten down. It is trying to get back above that $40 range, which is a little bit of level here. Oh, BNGO. Yes, another one that has been a super high flyer again. This is what happens when a stock just goes completely parabolic. People get a little bit too FOMO into it. You see it completely just kind of come through. But once it kind of untangles and the real numbers come out and they don't have earnings to really back it, this is what really happens. It just gets really beaten down here. We're seeing some significance, a level of support around $5 to $5.15. If we can see that hold, great, fantastic. I think it's still slightly high up where it could be. I think it can easily break that range and maybe go below 4. But again, even with this last earnings came out, it looks like it did a pretty nice little positive move here. So that's going to be a great movement there. But initially speaking here on the daily chart here, it has not really gotten above that yellow line here, which we'd like to see here. Would love to see this back above that 650 to around that 690 plus there to really see that positive movement come in there. Yeah, Tesla. Tesla, what a hell of a week for this one, right? We're bouncing off that 200 EMA. Once again, we talked about this level before here. We'll see if we can kind of stay above here. In the short term, we have some support here around $557. If we break below that and actually close below that on a weekly basis, I think we can easily see it close and make its way back below 500. If we don't, and we see it kind of continue kind of chop here, that really level we need to see to break out is that 600 and really get that 650 plus to kind of see that that stock to kind of get back into action. Yeah, EA, I love EA, the company. Well, they treat the developers like shit, I hear. Although Kathy Wood buys, gets shorted. Yeah, Kathy Wood is definitely getting beaten up on the market in the sense of just what people are going after. Alpaca says, Makeshift and I will play Battlefield with you. Heck yeah, you guys will. Chris is asking about LVR and LZR. Those are the mortgage companies. Okay, let me just Google that real fast. LVZ. So LVZ Advisors, is that what you're looking at? Is this what you're looking at? Their stock holdings. Is it like a mutual fund or is it like an ETF? It says in countries the US. Top holdings is I don't know. Like, I don't know how to look this one up. I don't see. Looks like it's not filling there. Sorry there, Chris. I have to do that more, a little bit looking into that one. Oh, it's medical devices. Okay. Thank you, DMC8282. Take it easy, my friend, and happy trading for this week. NIO, yes, NIO. Let's talk about Tesla. Now we're going to switch to NIO. This is something. Looking at NIO, it's kind of somewhat. It's below the 200 EMA as well. This again had an enormous run. So if we go look to the weekly chart, this thing was of last year, all right, just last year, this was below $4, okay? And now it's at 30, it got up to 67, no, almost 70, and now it's back down to 32. Very aggressive moments, very aggressive moves. The trend is slightly broken here. Again, has not really been getting back above the 200 EMA here. So really to kind of see this one to get back in action would be around that 3650 time frame, 3650 price target to kind of get back above that. And then really some just positive data on it, to be quite honest with you. That falling 89 EMA here, which is that teal line here, that is significant levels of resistance as well. So we've seen it hit once, almost twice, and then the third time here, and not been able to get above it here. This is something that we just cannot get above here, and see that the 89 EMA here. Chris, for some reason, I don't know if you're putting the stars on there, it's just not showing up the ticker symbol. Can you ping it to me in Discord? Are you in the Discord server? And thank you for the $2 again. You don't have to do that, my friend. I don't know if it's just doing it on my screen. It's just blurring it out, or it's giving the asterisks. Yeah, I don't know, my friend. It's really weird. I'm just seeing the eye and then 4 or 5 stars. Is it an inappropriate name? I love seeing some bear action too. Speaking of bear action, Alpaca, you know I'm meeting up with Bear. I'm going to try to be meeting with Bear tomorrow night for dinner. Dancing bears. Yeah, PLTR. We'll take a look at PLTR. PLTR, what are we doing with this baby here? This one definitely got out some weak hands this past week here. We talked about this level here around the 200 EMA, around $20.50 here. If we can see this hold here, that would be fantastic and great. But again, we have to understand that this is not something that's going to be completely blowing up and going to $60 in the near term. The stock is, again, was pretty much very heavily boosted by, again, from Wall Street Bets, a lot of FOMO, the overall market of 2020, and people are kind of used to those prices up there. Just kind of scrap that in your rear view mirror and just look back this previous kind of chop here that we saw here. Very kind of compelling market here within that little box there. We broke below that box here, again, breaking that initial trend here. This is something that we want to look for, potentially holding the 200 EMA here. But if it does break here, we can easily see it hit to around 1850 again. We'll see how this week ends. Again, this longer term hold, so I'm kind of be looking at this chart on the weekly side. It already has 3 quarters behind it, and I like that. We'll see on how this one continues plays out, though. Fuzzy Dice is looking for Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia is supposed to be having a split, right? They're talking about some splits happening again. That had a nice little pop up on Friday here. We do have earnings coming out the 26th. So we'll see on how that one holds there. On the 26th, which would be, what is that? Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday of next week, we'll have Nvidia coming out. Love Nvidia. This stock has been, again, very choppy here. We've seen some potential tries and breakouts here, but nothing insane here. We'll see on how this one looks like here. But with the earnings coming out for next week, we're looking for a potential expected move around $40. So that's going to be quite significant there. So $40 where we're currently trading would be putting it up to potentially its all-time high, or breaking it to the lows here, kind of falling into the 89 EMA, potentially even to the 144 EMA. So the $40 move plus or minus doesn't mean it has to happen. It's just what the options market, the options money market makers are giving the potential move. Ryan OP is asking for Riot. Yeah, definitely got beat down with, again, it's really just going to be following the price of Bitcoin. Just like Bitcoin, it's kind of somewhat cratering here, and there is no potential angles to pull up quite yet here. If Bitcoin does make a pretty sharp turnaround, this thing maybe could kind of get a sympathy turnaround as well here. But as of right now, this is still slightly aggressively pointing down here. Would need to see it back above 27 to even $30 plus to kind of see this kind of bounce back here a little bit here. But again, we are entering the below the 200 EMA territory. We can easily potentially build a base here, but if that chopping doesn't stop here, we can easily see it kind of flip below there. Rob is asking for FUV. Yeah, another one that was a pretty extensive one that has been talked about a lot in 2020. Sadly, that FOMO really kicked in here. It has broken the trend here. Really, it broke here on the short-term trend, but then broke here again on the longer data trend around this range, and has not really recovered from there, and really broke below 17 here. And now seeing it continuously grind lower here. Again, we'll see maybe if this does hold here. This is kind of coming back into the price averages where it did initially break out. So it's kind of coming into potentially par levels here. But we'll see if this negative notion can continue, because again, there could be some more bag holders lefting over and just continue to kind of letting go of the stock there. Investo Unlimited, Sky 1187 is asking for DNN. That sounds familiar. What is that? Looks like a penny stock, so nothing really up my alley here. It's less than $5 here. You said you have the July 17 call options. July 17. So I'm guessing you probably have like the 250 calls, most likely to the 250s or the 150s. That's the largest open interest there. Yeah, there's not going to be much I can say about those, because again, look at how much open interest there is currently there, and they lost 66.67% of their market change just in Friday's close here. Again, those options are going to be very hard to hold for me, because again, they're trading for about 5 cents, right? If they do pop, those are going to be fantastic for you. I don't know the company, honestly. The chart is very choppy here. We are seeing some initial support here around $1.07 to around that dollar even here. But again, any kind of negative news in this stock, as you can see here, it has had a pretty large run up here. If it does pull back here, that's going to be quite substantial and be kind of creating a very extensive snowball pushing down there. Invesco Mortgage Capital, NYC, IVR, lol, thanks Ken. NCV, IVR, that's the name. I see IVR covering anytime soon. IVR. Okay, there we go. I see IVR now. It's loaded for me now. But I see it recovering anytime soon. It's mortgage stuff. I don't know how this is structured, but that's a hell of a drop there. Could it recover here? I think I would have to know more. It sounds like you know quite a bit there, Chris, on how this one plays out. But yeah, that thing, yikes. I don't know. I would have to, I'll write it down and just take a looky-loo, honestly, here. Like again, if we just go here to a weekly chart, that is definitely beat down. I just don't know how things are structured. It's kind of like how USO got beaten down during the pandemic and just hasn't really recovered here. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's an interesting one. I would need to know more what they're actually holding there. That's a monthly chart. Makeshift is asking on what do you think about FireEye? FireEye had a great move. I haven't looked at it in a little bit because it had that move higher again to that hack that they kind of helped and recovered it there. Very interesting to see here. Really post higher here. We're seeing that finally close and break out above that $21.24 here. If we can see that continuous motion here and movement, RSI and the Chaikin money flow here on the sorry, I want to go to the weekly chart here. To break out here, we could see a break above 22.50 to around 23 here. I think this thing has a perfect place again. I've traded this stock for a long time. I've owned it for quite some time. I've traded it quite a bit here. But yeah, I think this is a great little brand here. If we do see a break to 23, I don't know if we'll see 25 in the near term because again, that was a pretty outstanding, unrational move due to news. Yeah, I like the stock here. But if we start seeing it break below that 20-ish range, this thing could fall quite substantially fast there, Makeshift. But I don't own it right now, though. Sky saying DNM is a mining company. Yeah, it's a mining company and it's a penny stock, so I have to be very careful with that. Certain stocks that are even under $5 are very risky for me. Timothy's asking for LPX. Yeah, very strong industrial kind of move here, kind of pulling back here with the overall market here that we saw here, but it didn't really break here. We did see it hit the 50-day here, bounce back, hasn't really gotten back above that 66 plus range to kind of get back in that movement here. Would like to see that back above that 67 plus here and looking to maybe break that $69 to $70 range to kind of get back on track for this trend here. Already had earnings behind us, already had a dividend day behind us, so fantastic. Just kind of entering chop mode. That's the more positive case. If we see it break below here and start breaking and closing below 62-ish, that could kind of create some more selling pressure and we could get some more triggering for selling there. Chris was the LVZ. Oh, IVZ. Yeah, that's made okay. It looks like this made a move here. Okay, yeah, I know this one now. I've seen this one before. This has clearly made a move here. I don't know why the other one hasn't recovered yet. I think maybe the assets were moved. I don't know on what the different filings were for those ETFs and how Invesco kind of moved the money around potentially. Clearly, this one has recovered substantially more. I wouldn't call it on the same boat here. This is clearly something that has recovered much more than that particular other ETF that you showed me there, my friend. It's in mining as in cryptos or material. That's a great question, Makeshift, that people need to decipher what they're mining. What is my potential uranium bull? Yes, so I own. Oh shoot! No, I just CCJ. Sorry, I typed in the wrong window. CCJ as well. Really great movement here again. We've owned this one for quite a little bit here, just kind of continuously bouncing higher here. Looking here to break above 19. We're looking for this, if this can continue, this momentum here, we're looking for $21, but we have some targets in the higher end to around 23. There is some other plays that I have seen before here, but this is something that I'm looking at to play here because again, this is not completely Where's the, why does this never load when I click on that? But yeah, CCJ is my play for that, my friend. For the uranium play. I know some other, again, this shouldn't persuade you in any way, but there's other smart traders that I know that are substantially smarter than me that were in CCJ way before I even talked to them about it. So Timothy says, thanks, man. Nice bookshelf. Thank you. Yeah, it's I got it beginning of the year, I believe. No, you're the man. Thank you for the donations, my friend. Appreciate it. What happened to CCIV? CCIV, of course, that was that SPAC, Lucid Motors, kind of coming through. This is just what happens, what FOMO and people, the fear of missing out, and just these parabolic upscale moves here. The hopes and dreams that were built on here completely, really sadly, just had no rhyme or reasons to be at these levels here, and just really kind of came back down to earth and crashed pretty hard, and then continue to kind of tumble and scrape on the highway on its very tough landing here. But I think it has a place though. Like, they're actually making cars. They are making pretty high-end prototypes. You're really getting in at the early stage, and I really do believe this, and just, you can make fun of me about it, that I think most people don't have the threshold or the patience to hold stocks for a longer periods of times, because you just had a kind of, if you got into this at, well, I hope you didn't buy this in at $65 or $64, because that would be a nightmare. I wouldn't think I would like to do that. But does it have an EV place? Like, I think it does. I think they make insane high-end cars. Again, I'm sadly, they priced me out of the market. I'm not looking for a $150,000+ car. I'm more of like a Model Y kind of price range guy. But that's out of my price range. Like, and I think it's majority out of the other price ranges. But I understand what they're trying to do. Like, if they're able to do it, again, if you know the Tesla story and how difficult it is to manufacture cars, especially on so many moving parts, so many pieces that need to be molded together, and all these kind of things, it's going to be a rough ride with any kind of industry within that. So be ready for that. Sky, you're very welcome. CCI was a good sell. Yes, it was. I think I like a long term too, Makeshift. I like the cigar like purchase. I am invested in current located in, I don't know what that is. I think eventually uranium prices will start to rise, people mainly because of EV currently. Yeah, again, I think so too. Like, so between CCIJ, I own the stock, and then I own some. I think I own some leaps. Yeah, I own leaps on this one too, but it's further out to 2023. But I got them at cheaper prices than these, and I bought them in them. But well, they're in the money now. They're about the 15s. I think I talked about it on my Patreon when I do my my member stuff. I talked about it. Fuzzy Dice is asking for space. Yes, I traded that one as well. That was a nice little move here coming into the midweek. A very nice surprise here. I'm kind of a sucker for anything to do with space stuff. I wish I can own SpaceX. Honestly, that would is what I would love to own. And there's a lot of companies that are doing great things within the industry, but excuse me. It's a very interesting time, especially in these markets here, especially this stock that has really been Oops. That's been really kind of just beaten down here. Again, it was very much a high flyer of last year. Again, this was one of the first SPACs I've ever bought. Again, this is I bought this SPAC around the about it below $10, like when I made this dip here, and then I rode it all the way up here, selling the shares and leaps I had on it all the way up, and I got out of it, most of it by it before it hit 30. But then it made that huge collapse down. I think the same thing is going to happen here again with space. I think I think it's going to have some bumpy rides, aka no pun intended here, on a rocket ship kind of philosophy. But this is something that people just don't quite understand here. I think that there are a lot of use cases, not just looking at the transportation or just things like that, but just taking a different look at using engaging rockets in certain levels in the atmosphere. So again, I'm a space nut, so this has a soft spot in my heart, but the company is definitely a very choppy, risky investment there. That being said here, if we do see a nice positive news and saw the test that they did this past weekend go fantastic, or did go fantastic, or get a fantastic response here, I think we could easily see that break up to that $25 plus here if that movement continues forth. Airbnb, yes, something I have never used before. Airbnb, something, again, newer stock. Remember that newer stocks, there has to be some flushing out periods. I can't remember if this was a direct listing or an IPO. So if it was a direct listing, most people who wanted to get out could have gotten out. If it was an IPO, there's going to be some more lockup dates to look out for. Initially speaking here, excuse me, got to go to bed soon here. We saw some pretty steep selling, again, due to the NASDAQ pullback into its earnings. Kind of found somewhat of a bottom here around 135-ish, potentially range here. If this can hold and kind of just trade sideways for a little bit, I think we could kind of get a pretty significant recovery here. But again, there isn't too much data on this one quite yet here, so we're just kind of sitting back and waiting and seeing how this one plays out, and hopefully we'll hope for the best in these scenarios. Again, Airbnb really playing on the potentially recovery, and I think more people are going to be getting into homes than just going to a basic hotel. Naked. Nothing much to say there. Again, this thing was this is the same time where we had the huge short interest spikes there as well, and so these amazing moves higher here, and now seeing it kind of pull back here, holding that 21 EMA and just kind of just trade sideways, getting really much kind of beaten down here. Sadly, this is not my kind of cup of tea. It's trading outside of my norms here, my friend. CRBP. Pharma's is this. I think we talked this one before, and this looks very familiar. This huge gap down, very much as if it's a pharmaceutical play. It's just too tough, my friend. This is something that's just been beaten down. It's probably due to some kind of trial period or something, or something just didn't go well, didn't get FDA approval, whatever. Someone died during a trial or whatever. Let me blow my nose. These allergies are killing me, folks. Yep. Excuse me. So yeah, very much beaten down. This is something you have to really understand the fundamental story behind it, and really kind of play your risk to reward, especially if it went to the positive movement. This thing could have probably easily kind of, maybe, I don't know what it did, but you see these other stocks that have like, oh, we can cure XYZ disease, and then you see it go from like $5 to $50 in like 2 days. Like, you can have those movements, but on the flip side, you can also have the negative movements like we see here. So sadly, my friend, I can't add too much advice to this one. It just kind of really beaten down here. We'd have some pretty significant levels around 138 here. We see some really kind of trend line there. Timothy, wow, $15. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for your time. Let's try NIO, TTCF, and BNGO if you have the time. I'm an old school technical, and you're doing a great job. Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate that. So looking at NIO, so NIO, the competitor, they call it the Chinese Tesla, blah, blah, blah. I don't care what people name things, but the chart is kind of, it broke a level here around $63-ish, lower 63s here. We did break that level here on the 200 EMA here. We're seeing kind of trade lower here. It didn't kind of really just sink lower here, so we didn't see some like crazy selling here and kind of just continue to kind of sell off later like we could have seen. It did hold a pretty nice level here around 36 for quite some time here, but now we're seeing it kind of come back here. We'll see on the next time to kind of break out and kind of break above for this week here. So the expected move for the week is only around $2.30 plus or minus, that is. So that could easily, where it's trading at 34 here, break up to that 35 to 36 plus on the positive note to kind of see that breakout here. But with the scenario of what we've previously seen, it's just been very choppy here. But if it does move higher, we see that 21, 200 EMA, and the parabolic SAR dots line up around that 35, higher 35s there. And then for Tattoo Chef, same kind of scenario, a little bit more positive notion. We talked about this one on last Sunday's live stream on a potential double bottom here around that higher $15 to $16 range here. Really good positive notion. Again, we did an earnings coming out here that kind of didn't really go too much or just go flying off the rails here. Initially speaking here, if this momentum wants to continue, could see some potential hitting a wall here around 2150 to 2143 to be precise, because we're friends, to really see that play out here. If that does bounce off here, and kind of pull back here, we could be seeing somewhat of a pullback to around 20-ish to 2050. But if it wants to continue breaking out here, we can easily see this one start trending its way back up to some previous significant resistance around $24.60. But keeping in mind that lower band in mind around $18.39 to around $17 as some levels of support to the downside. And BNGO, yeah, that's a crazy one that we saw last year that had a huge explosions to the upside here with a lot of positive FOMO, a lot of fears of missing out, a lot of just parabolic moves here. Sadly, the trend has been broken here for quite some time here. We are bouncing off this 200 EMA, just trying to stay alive here. So we start seeing it close below that 512 to 515. That could be some negative, more significant movements coming in here. That's also falling into this previous levels here again. We see it breaking out here on this trend here. This trend is just, it's very simplistic to look at. Again, it's just looking at red. We want it to turn white for a couple ticks here, maybe turn blue and then get to the upside here. But this is something that we need to be looking out for. Again, being something in the pharmaceutical and especially in the medical device stuff, it's very much tied to approvals and just continuously positive data and research. Again, very much got pumped up by a lot of people who didn't know that I think they knew what they were doing, and sadly has pulled back because a lot of weak hands have been shucking out of this. Keeping in mind that there were multiple gaps up, and I come from the camp on the technical analysis, Timothy, from where you have to potentially break back to these gap levels here to really flush out those potential weak hands. So if we do not break around 515 or below $5, I think we can easily, if we do break below that 515 to $5, I think we can easily make our way back to below 4. If the overall market just kind of gets a really big tank and we see some people moving their money out pretty fast here. And again, Timothy, thank you for the $15, man. That's a nice chunk of money there. TD89175SR. Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Yeah, we did. Fantastic, my friend. You got any tickers you want to look at? Anyone else want to look at a couple of tickers? I got a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to get ready for the work week. Looks currently right now, everything is very flat here. The NASDAQ is actually slightly negative here, just by a hair. The rut as well here. We have the VIX kind of being flat here as well. But we do see some more positive movement and movement in gold here. It's all up nearly 0.5%. YAR. There's a couple things that I am looking at. I'm looking at great questions, Makeshift. I think reinflation is going to happen. I think there is a couple gluts in the market. Is something there's a lot of gluts in the market, especially you look in the lumber industry. I think even with the chips and the computer parts and things like that, I think once we get over that glut in the market again, I don't know if people remember, if you guys went to business school or anything like that. So, and there's this game they play. They may have even played in my economics class that I had. It's called the beer game. It's not the one where you take the ping pong ball and try to throw it in the solo cup. This is the beer game where there's it's basically a supply chain game, and the teacher, the instructor, the professor, basically he's the customer and he's the one who sends out the inventory, but each person in the class or a group of people in the class are part of the supply chain, and they have to make cost assumptions on what potentially could happen. Of course, the teacher might be like, okay, we need 10 cases, we need 100 cases, we need to go back down to 50, and just kind of potentially can create these gluts in the market. Again, if the one part of the logistics is being bottlenecked, that affects everything. That's exactly what happened, and the extent of the pipeline that we saw, where it didn't really cause too much of a problem, but it had made too much of like a hysteria and a little bit of a chaos and fear in people's reptilian part of their brain, and they all ran out and filled shopping bags and everything they could that can hold gasoline in a bag and buckets and everything. It's just been insane on what the process is. But again, going back to the bigger picture things, I think with reinflation, inflation, stuff like that, I know you guys have been talking about TLT stuff, especially with these bond market ETFs. I actually like TLT here. I really do. And I know you were saying, I think it was you as well, Makeshift, someone else, was that the theta has been killing you. So the best way to do that is potentially just doing, what's the word? Like, we go to TLT here. I'm actually going to do this on Tastyworks. So this is what I use for my trading platform. If you're interested, take a look at it. I have the link in the description if you want to take a looky-loo. It's an affiliate link, so if you sign up for $2,000 or more, you get a couple free nice incentives of like 100 free shares of stock or like a couple call options. But so with TLT here, what we're looking at here, we're seeing again very much something hard to borrow. I actually like that little feature here within Tastyworks here. If I'm buying calls, Makeshift, I want to be going out at least 60 days plus. I know if again, I think you know this all as well. So if I buy like the 145 August call, you can see that theta decay is nearly $1.50 on a $120 stock. That's really not worth it. But what you can do, but you're going to be limiting some of your upside potential, is just doing a call spread. So if you want to buy something way out of the money, which I don't recommend, I like to buy closer to be in the money or directly in the money. So you can easily just buy like the 135 here and then sell the 145. So you're paying for around $3.70, okay? Your potential max profit on the trade is around $6.50, and of course your max loss is what the debit you paid. So $3.70, so or $370. But look how much better your theta decay is. Again, if TLT just jumps back up to 170, sadly you're going to be capped at only making $630. But you're limiting your downside risk, that theta decay as well. So it keeps you in the game more, and at the same time, it allows you to participate in the game. Like we're talking about, like it's not just making bets on a daily basis. It's just having a thesis, having understanding, and just placing your bets according to your risk parameters, which is mostly tied to what capital you have. Like, of course, if you ask someone on Wall Street Bets what the risk parameters is basically what's the next play for next week that I can put 125% of my account into with margin. So, yeah. No problem, Makeshift. What do you think about people going to get rich off AMC? Do you think people are going to be going to get rich off AMC? I really do hope so. I don't know. Again, short squeezes are very hard to come by. ARPO. Wow. So pharmaceutical stock, again, we talked about this one. We talked about multiple pharmaceutical stocks already. They're crazy, right? Huge volume here again due to positive movement, and just continue to grind up here. So looking here on the weekly side, this thing just looks like chop, chop, chop. To be quite honest with my friend, I don't trade pharmaceutical stocks. I like to sleep at night. If I was a younger man and I had more patience, not more patience, but a little bit more of a solid stomach like I used to have, or not like I used to have, or honestly, it wasn't a lack of a harder stomach. It's just more like I don't like large drawdowns, and I always feel like there's no way to really protect myself on these larger moves here. Initially speaking, here on the weekly chart, it's just kind of coming into some overhead pressure here, but that volume is astronomical, though. Did Tesla complete Elliott Wave 5 at the end of February 1? March says, I see the counter move ABC currently there. Okay, so TD, I am so happy that you're into Elliott Wave. This is something I have not been able to get into. I do believe in Elliott Wave methodology and the trading behind it, or the technical stuff behind it. I just can't speak to it. I'll be straight with you. Johnny Bravo, what's up, my friend? Makeshift, yeah, Makeshift. It's all about learning. Like Makeshift, like I've lost so much money in my early days of trading, of just doing dumb shit and just not actually being honestly being completely belligerent at times, of just like, hey, Ken, you just burnt your hand doing this. Why the hell are you doing it a week later? I had to burn my hand so many times. Johnny, thank you for the like. I appreciate that. Rocket says AMC will moon ... Yeah, we can look at AMC. So again, with this movement here, so we're looking here on the trade calendar here. So we can look at weeklies, monthlies, but look at this insane amount of open interest on this here. There was large volumes on the 50 or the $40 calls going out into June. So 26 days away. There was a lot of stuff traded that day. I don't know if AMC $4 calls came public that day and people were just shorting it on just selling those calls for premium. But this is something to be very careful about. Again, technically speaking here, that 1330 range is that level of resistance we've seen before here. To really see that breakthrough, we need to see some significant volume here. Again, that can happen with options. So we saw that happen with GMC, where we had a basically this whole huge gamma squeeze where the markets were just so volatile in the options market, which was driving the stock market crazy. Again, the basics: one call equals 100 shares of the stock. So if you have someone having control of 100 shares of the stock for one call, and calls are usually cheaper of just owning rather than having 100 shares, so you can see on how this can easily be manipulated is the wrong word, but kind of being a huge prop movement higher here. ANC 100K was trending on Twitter recently. Wow. Again, like I told you, if I'm going to trade it, I'm probably going to be selling premium on it. So I don't know. We'll see how that one plays out. I'll try to do an in-depth video sometime this week. Again, tomorrow I'm meeting up with Bear, and I have a lot of work personally to do for my day job, so we'll see how that one plays out. Danny David's asking for MMED has been looking strong lately. I've been adding it to the big dips. Is it MMND? You're talking about Mind Matter, David? Just want to it's sorry, MNMD, right? You're talking about this one? If you're not talking about Mind Matter, so this is one a lot of folks within the Discord are also talking about. Very choppy here, very speculative play. Hasn't really been a proven company yet, or the potential like breakout of psychedelics. Something to looking for and seeing it does break out again. Very interesting one, but again, a little bit on the risky side. Technically speaking, we have some initial support around $3, but anything can happen in this one. Johnny, I saw you live. Just figured just drop by and say hello. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that, my friend. ATOS cup and handle on the daily candlesticks. Cup. Yeah, I can kind of see a cup maybe with a handle kind of forming here, TD. We need to kind of stay around that 315 plus. But if that can kind of build up here and just have a huge, a pop up higher here, they could easily see that here. Let me look at a little bit more too spiky than I normally like to see, but yeah, definitely something that could happen here, but not really within my price range on this again. And it's also a therapeutic, so Pharma goes no Ken. I'm looking at that now. Makeshift. Oh, S3 Partners. S3 is that firm that I talked about a lot. Makeshift that does all the short-term analytics stuff. I mean the short squeezes in like large institutional holdings. Ryan OP says 1 for S SPY Ken, sir, please. For SPY, you're looking for S&P 500. So yeah, with SPY here, again, the futures currently are just basically flat here. We'll see how this one plays out this week. I haven't looked at my calendar for the week on seeing if there's some economic data, if the Fed speaks or anything like that. It's not like the end of the month yet. We are coming into Memorial Day, which historically speaking has been a little bit of a positive movement in overall stocks because of people's emotions and movement and things like that. We can see maybe a positive spin here. But looking for S&P 500 in the short term, we would love to see this back above at least 420. That would be a nice little positive movement. The expected moves that we're looking for this week is around a 750. So that could easily bring us back to that 420 without a doubt and even break above that. Initially speaking, that would be a very positive movement again to the upside here if we do see that kind of come through. Again, closing around, let's just call it 415. That would need a pretty significant push higher to that level there. With that being said, we do have some initial support here around 413 to around 411 here. But if that does break, we can be saying hello to that 50 SMA again here around the 408 range. Welcome, Ryan. Good evening, Ken. ABLM applying to get into the NASDAQ. Yeah, that'd be something interesting. So if it's currently the OTC market, we could get a nice little run up. It looks like it already kind of came into fruition here. A 20% move on Friday here, Daniel. Very much of a beat down kind of company as well. I don't know the company, but the stock has been very much somewhat getting kicked to the side here. Kind of coming into some support here. Pretty significant short-term support around $1.50. But we'll see how this one plays out there. Again, not really in my wheelhouse of these lower end OTC kind of penny stock kind of markets, because again, those are super volatile and something I don't like to play in, because normally the options aren't available and it's a penny market and it's very cutthroat, and I like to have names that have some staying power that I can actually kind of understand there. On that, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I've been streaming for about 90 minutes. I will try to stream sometime more this coming week. If you guys want to see more videos, I want to do some more tutorial videos and make it a little bit more fun rather than just me talking about other kind of stuff. Let's end up on Costco. Looks like you want to talk about Costco. Yes, they have earnings this week. Oh, wrong button. I think it was the 26th, right? The 27th. So after the market on the 27th, so that's a Thursday, right? Is that really a Thursday? Yeah. So Thursday after the close, you know I love my Costco. I should go to Costco Thursday night, hopefully at the earnings as well. We'll see how this one plays out. The expected move for the week is $13.50, so around 380 we're currently looking at would be putting it well below the 34 EMA could be bouncing off that 34 EMA here. So in the short term, what I'm going to be looking at, I'll be potentially trying to sell some premium below the 370 range to maybe get some of that premium off the stock that I hold with Costco. And at the same time, if we do get that positive movement in Costco, because again, I love my Costco as much as I love my Tesla stock, looking for 388 plus here and really seeing that movement kind of break out here into that all-time high. Because again, this stock is, I believe, a fantastic company, does great things, takes care of the employees and so forth. But on that note, thank you guys. Thank you, Fish, Rocket, David, Daniel, Fuzzy. Guys, greatly appreciate it, guys and gals. And again, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next stream or the next video. Peace.